regarding the presidential debate. Because I heard you guys' podcast. I've heard a lot of reviews about it, and being an Ohioan, and my governor was there. It was here. I thought maybe I should share a little bit about that. I wasn't at the debate, but I felt like my top three were people who I think did the best were Kasich, Christie, and Rubio.
Really?
I know you guys probably,
I agree with you. I agree with you with
disagree.
I agree with you with Kasich. I think on a level of serious politics, he probably did the best. On the level of what will appeal to Republicans, he did not win that one. And that's why I think he's sort of being ignored somewhat. Rubio did all right. I could see Rubio being in a top three. That's for sure. Christie, though, honestly, I think Christie, without a doubt, him and Jeb Bush, to me, it's a toss-up between who did the worst. Jeb Bush just got steamrolled, didn't make himself visible at all. That's how he lost to me. He could not speak well. He could not put forth his message well. He was just horrible in that aspect. Mm-hmm. But Christie was loud and made himself seen and viewed and heard, and he got owned by Rand Paul. After that, I honestly said to myself, I said on the show when we were doing the live stream, Chris Christie could walk off the stage right now and say, I'm bowing out because he is done. Rand Paul dug Chris Christie's grave right there.
Well, see, that's where I disagree, though, is because when he had that exchange with Paul, right, the one where Paul said, I remember the hug you gave to President Obama. I saw that as a cheap shot. Look, that was a point of disaster, and that shows unity in the time of disaster.
The Republican
and Paul
Party
just throws that in there as a cheap shot.
I understand how you're coming. I understand how you're looking at this from.
Sure.
But if you are a Republican voting in the Republican primary and you look at all 17 candidates and you're picturing them in your head when you're pulling the lever, what's the first picture of Chris Christie that'll pop up in your head when you're going into that booth? You're going to see him hugging President Obama.
Okay,
and you will not vote for. He's the only one. He's the only one who's ever hugged President Obama. He's done.
That's true.
He's done. They already don't like him because he's a loudmouth Northerner, and that does not repeal to many swaths of the Republican base. So he's already got that working against him. And then any of those people who don't mind him being that, picture Obama hugging Christie, and that's it. They're out. People in New Jersey don't even like Chris Christie. He's got nobody. I can't picture one group of, like, Huckabee says some horrible things, but I know the people who vote for Huckabee. I know the people who are going to go in there voting for Kasich. I know the people who are going to go in there and vote for Trump. And that's a large array of people too. I can't imagine one sliver of people who are going to go in there and vote for Christie. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I've been talking over you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, so I completely understand every single thing you said, and I completely co-sign with every point you just put up. However, what I thought that Christie handled well was after Paul really just threw out that cheap shot, and Paul wasn't having that good of a night. Well, he did look childish and overtly aggressive and pugnacious the whole night, and then Christie said, I don't remember that hug, but I do remember the hugs that I gave to the millions of families whose family members were victims in the 9/11, and how he talked about how he was, appointed attorney or what prosecutor, whatever he was, September 10th, and he just brought that in there, and he really gave a much more rational and composed and heartfelt response to Paul's aggressive and really unwarranted accusation. And not only that, but going back to also Jeb Bush, like you said, look, I completely, in fact, and someone on MSNBC said after the debate that Bush looked like oatmeal getting colder. And I completely agree with that. The thing is, I felt like Bush might have played it well, because what if he went in there? Let's flip it around. What if he went in there really confident, really sure? Doesn't that sort of give off the impression of, I guess my brother's been president, my dad's been president. He shows that much confidence, and he seems like one of those establishment snobs that can just come in and be out of public office for so many years, but just come back in and say, I'm running for president, and have everyone backing him. Obviously, look, he went, obviously, I mean, like, yes. Look, he didn't look competent there in the slightest means. But I felt that it's better that he comes in there and goes on the complete end being really confident.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go because we're running out of time. But I agree with you most about what you said about Jeb Bush. He was not. He looked like he's never been on camera before. He looked like he was horrible at speaking to people. He looked like he was shell shocked. He had no idea how to handle it. But I'm gonna let you go and just say a quick thing about Christie. I think you're underestimating how sick the American people at large are of the whole leaning on the 9/11 thing. This isn't 10 years ago. This isn't 5 years ago. This isn't even maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. People are, and a large group of people on both sides of the aisle are getting really sick and tired of the whole, 9/11 as the excuse to say, you can't hit me there. It's really turned a lot of people off. And I mean, Rand Paul made a face. Michael pointed it out when we were watching that debate. When Christie dropped the 9/11 families, Rand Paul pursed his lips like, are you serious? And I think a large portion of people watching that had that same reaction when Chris Christie leaned on the whole, can't hit me there, 9/11. It's just become a response to try to absolve yourself from any sort of criticism or critique or attack. And I think a lot of people are sick of it because he's using 9/11. He's not actually, he's outright using this tragedy, this event, this terrorist attack for political gain. And it's quite honestly disgusting. And I think the American public are sick of that. Yeah.